live? I'm not on the right panel. Yes, I am. Hello and welcome to the Somewhat Daily Backup for Wednesday, the 25th of November. I'm your host, Nick by Richardson, and I'm joined by Peter, the Woodsman Burns. You've been promoted. You're back to Woodsman. It's looking good.
Yeah, patchy. That's me.
Have you shortened the width?
No, it just it'll. The Mo stands alone.
Mm-hmm.
The Mo is its own beast.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But it tends to just that this bit kind of just gets bushier, and as it comes forward, it's an optical illusion.
Yeah, right.
It looks like it's all connected, but it's never all connected.
It's never all connected. No. You look great, though. Let me just say.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the news. Exciting to be back for the news. Although we were literally just saying before we started, today's news is like we normally have the news and then leftovers of just here's some little stories that we'll just punch through. Today it's all leftovers. It's just
to save you guys time. We cut out the middleman of actual news, and now we've just got bits.
Exactly. We've just got sweet bits. Speaking of sweet bits. We just hit a level 1 hype train.
Oh, good segue. I don't think have we got bits activated on our channel? I don't think people can send us bits.
I don't know. I've been either
bits
on
and channel
or
points
using
are just
Twitch
most
for years.
Bullshit.
No idea what this shit is.
Just send us cash in an envelope in the mail.
Just do it.
Like, our PO box.
Do you have any idea how much we lose in taxes and American to Australian conversions
fees
if you just sent us envelopes of money that we didn't need to declare?
Cheered 100 bits. Jay Bezos cheered a bit. Thank you for the bits. Now we've got
take
bits,
those bits. How much are those bits worth? How much is a cheer worth? How much is a cheer worth? I bet this will give me some sort of power of positivity article about how to self-worth. You can buy bits starting at $1.40 for 100. Okay, so we just got 14 cents from Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
I just got that.
Jeff Bezos.
And Skiverick gave us $1.40. So Jeff, if you take those 14 cents and put that in an envelope.
Go to Lugano Public School in 1995 and get yourself 14 carob buds, a cent a pop. Bargain.
Shit,
fucking
is that
bargain.
How much they were?
There must have been some kind of government subsidy on those, because carob can't be a cent a drop.
That's not how carob works. That must have been, you know how they have food vouchers in America? For meals? Yeah, it's been subsidized via that. There's a carob voucher somewhere in the New South Wales government school education system.
Yeah, totally. There's some dodgy dealing. One of Frydenberg's mates owns the carob factory.
Yeah, totally. and literally just the same day that Gladys Berejiklian took a COVID test and then wanted it out and kissed every single person at her party before she got the results, she was signing off a meeting with Big Carob. Good. I'm glad we're doing that. Okay, welcome to the news. We are excited to be here. Oh, we should start and end with the other piece of news about today, Peter.
Oh, yeah.
Which we haven't actually told anybody.
But interestingly enough, some people are semi-aware, because I got probed about it last night when I was playing Destiny. How? We are not doing the show tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's show is not happening because it's happening tonight, Wednesday night. This night.
Back Pocket is on tonight at 8. So normal time.
Gus, if you're watching, make a graphic for Twitter.
Yeah. This is all coming very, very hot.
Yeah.
Because we're doing something else tomorrow night that I think we can promote, but we still need to figure out a lot of stuff with it.
We do. It sounds like but it does feel like we'll still be live tomorrow night doing this other thing.
Yeah.
But we wanted to get our normal show out the door as well. So we'll be doing that tonight. And BT Nano, oh great, I was going to miss it tomorrow. Well, now you don't have to. You have to miss the other thing.
Yeah. Kit Carnage said, Steph let Reese know she would be home on Thursday, I assume, to play Destiny.
Yeah.
Blame Steph. That is the most Steph thing.
Yeah.
Like, if ever... We can't tell her any company secrets. I know.
Is that a secret, though?
It was until we told it on the broadcast. But yeah, that is... So that's the news. So we will be doing the show tonight. Gird your loins for this evening, and then re-gird them again for tomorrow night, and come join us for the second thing.
You'll be girded for the next couple of days. 48 hours of girding.
That's good. Is that clenching? I'm guessing gird is just clench. What does gird mean?
Define gird.
Hey Siri.
Encircle.
What
a personal
gird
part
mean?
of the body with a belt or a band.
Word. G-E-R-D or
G-I-R-D.
It's G-I?
Yeah.
G-I-R-D.
I'm afraid I can't do that for you.
What a fucking shit AI.
God, she's such fucking rubbish.
Apologies for when Siri takes over the world and comes for me first. But
no, well, the other reason she'd be coming for you is because she's actually supposed to be coming for Piper, but she misheard. Yeah. All right, let's get on with the news. We've got a bunch of leftovers, but people who aren't leftovers are the two most important Pocketeer patrons today. The first is today's Pocketeer patron extraordinaire, and that is Ben Richardson. Ben Richardson.
Your long-lost son.
Is it technically we're all related because we all came from Adam's rib, but beyond that, I don't believe this is any relation. But Ben, if you're watching, let me know if we are related. Did you grow up in Armidale in country New South Wales? Let me know. Ben, thank you very much for your patronage and your support. May you always find that solution to the code execution cannot proceed because VC runtime 140.dll is incompatible with this version of Windows 10 error. Because that one plagued me for about 45 minutes last night, and I fixed it. I'm a hero. I'm a hacker.
Well done.
Thank you. So Ben, I am as proud of you as I am of my hacking abilities, but I'm not as proud of you as the person who makes sure that the Somewhat Daily Backup comes to you every Monday and Wednesday of every single week without fail. We've never missed an episode, and that is Tim from the Learn Programming Academy. Tim is the person you want to go to when you need to code anything, and I am going to say, Apple, maybe you should talk to Tim and figure out some sort of better voice recognition for your terrible AI.
Yeah. One of Tim's top courses for just $20, because most of his courses are just $20. One of his courses, I can't verify this, but I'm sure, is how to code a premium AI. For just $20.
If it isn't, then he seems to be, he both is missing out on a big opportunity and Apple are missing out on the cheapest thing they've ever bought. But if you want to learn programming, then head to Learn Programming Academy, lpa.dev/backpocket, and you can find out, like, you might be inspired. You might, at the moment, you might be like, I don't want to be a coder. I don't know what I'm going to code. What would I come up with? And then you go there and you're like, oh my God, yes, something that automatically reminds me every time I need to change my underwear. This thing, some sort of fancy AI for one of the richest companies in the world. Pete, you have an idea.
I was going to say, sorry. Yeah, you just bugged out, I think. Maybe you are working from home at the moment and you want to know how to code a little program that will just automatically send messages to your coworkers every now and then to pretend you're at your computer working. You could just code a cheap little, hey, how's it going? I'm just, getting stuck into it. And then
that's such a good idea.
And then people are like, oh, look at that person working so hard. And you're kicking back with a martini in the Bahamas.
Where you live, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to get there. Yeah, that's a great idea. And you could actually just be playing Shadowlands, like a friend of mine absolutely is doing right now, and pretending that they're working. I'm not going to mention who it is, but they know who they are. What?
I can't believe how popular WoW still is. It's like top of Twitch right now.
It's insane.
I look at it and I'm like, have I gone back in time 15 years? Why are people so keen on this shit?
It's ridiculous. Did you see that Gus just I mean, the man is nothing but efficient. Made
good.
and
Wait,
graphic straight away. Yeah, what a boss. All right, let's jump into the news because we are excited to bring these stories to you, even though we labeled them all as leftovers at the beginning of the show. Story number 1, Red Dead Online launching as its own standalone game. Red Dead Online launched standalone on Steam and the Epic Games Store on December 1st, and until February 15th, 2021, will be priced at $4.99, I assume American. It'll be 123 gigs of disk space, and you'll also be able to purchase the story mode separately if you want. But that is apparently they're going to be doing this with GTA as well. But taking these online games and spinning them off into their own little thing seems like a shrewd business move.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think it's $5 for the first month, and then it goes to $20, which is
until Feb. Yeah,
right, until Feb. So that's a good little window. But that's still cheap for 130 gig worth of content, whatever that is. I like that was listed in that article that we were referencing as well. It was like, this is how much content you get. It's like, how is that relevant to people? Is it 130 gig of fun? It's
actually just one unbelievably high resolution hat texture.
Yeah, absolutely. The shells on that hat are like 15 gig. Obviously the game has changed a lot since vanilla.
By the way, I'm wearing the same shirt in the picture on screen right now as I am literally at the moment.
Oh yeah, wow.
Continue your story. That was 3 years ago.
It's Bellycate.
It is.
The game has changed a lot. I haven't played it in a while, but I've seen the sentiment around Red Dead Online become a lot more positive. So I do look forward to kind of checking it out, and I feel like it's a good opportunity for people to check it out now that it's much more affordable.
Yeah.
Like a much more accessible, because buying the campaign is like, and people who have played like Rockstar campaigns kind of know what to get. You are getting what you would expect of a Rockstar game. So I'm sure that puts some people off, but maybe they just want to bang around in rural America with beavers with their mates, and now they have the opportunity to.
Totally. And I think that, like, for me, I played Red Dead on PS4, but I would definitely play Red Dead Online on PC. Particularly with my fancy new graphics card. Ooh. And so, this is an easy way to just be like, I don't need to rebuy the whole game. I can just sort of like pay $5 and jump in there. I'm keen to check it out as well. I think suddenly Rockstar are back in the news. With they said that this article was also saying that, because you're right, there has been some sort of like I guess RDO, as I assume it's called, doesn't have that sort of like depth of content that GTA Online does, and that's been something that it's been criticized for. And they said that there's going to be one of the biggest update to the game is coming out at some point in the next year. I know that they announced that for GTA Online, which we covered on Monday, I think.
That new heist, that big heist.
Yeah, with the new heist. So it looks like they're probably going to, maybe 2021 is put some time into Red Dead Online, because I love the idea of being a cowboy in an open world. Like, that's far more an appealing open world space for me than something like WoW, even though I've spent tons of time playing WoW.
The challenge with RDO when it first launched, though, was that like it tried to keep I feel like it needed to kind of maintain the tone that it set with the campaign, because that's what the people who are playing it kind of expected. And the campaign is a very somber, slow, considered, thoughtful thing. And the thing that works about GTA Online is that you can't go for 30 seconds without something happening. Like, it was a distracting world, and that was what was fun about it. Even playing with friends, it was like, we're doing this thing and a jet flies overhead, or like, let's go and steal a jet, and on the way we're going to rob the petrol stations and stuff. It's like, it's impossible to not have something to do in GTA, whereas this was like, there's not much to do here except enjoy the beauty of the world, and that was like very limiting. So I think by separating it as a product, which was probably always going to happen because of how successful, they made like $500 million from GTA Online in the last year. So it's like their online games are what are going to keep Rockstar I mean, more than running, keep them one of the most profitable businesses in gaming. So they're probably going to try and change the tone of this, and that's what all these little expansions are: Frontier Pursuits, Naturalist, Moonshines. Like, it's all about filling the world with crap, which sounds awful to the purist who enjoyed the campaign, but is actually for the benefit of the experience of playing this online thing with people. So it's like, I feel like they have to do it.
Yeah, cool. Well, maybe we can saddle up at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go. 123 gigs. There's got to be something in there that I like.
Bears.
Even if I do just like high-res hats.
Beavers.
Here's something else that you could spend your money on. Fortnite are launching a subscription service. Epic officially unveiled Fortnite Crew today after there was a survey sent around, I think it was mid last week or something, asking some Fortnite players if they would be interested in paying more money to play the game that they currently play for free. And available from the Fortnite item shop starting on December 2nd, which is the launch of Chapter 2 of Season 5. The Fortnite Crew is $12 US a month. You'll get the current season battle pass, 1,000 V-Bucks per month, and the exclusive monthly Fortnite Crew Pack outfit bundle. The first of which is this, which is called the Galaxia outfit and style, plus the Cosmic Llamacorn pickaxe and a Fractured World back bling. So there's a lot of just bullshit there.
It looks awful, but I'm sure it looks great to people who dig Fortnite, because that's totally in the vein of every other piece of shit skin that I've seen come out of the game. It's like you're either a banana or a galaxy.
There's no in between.
There's no in between. Subscriptions, they feel like an archaic thing for an individual game, whereas like for a service like Game Pass, they feel a little bit more like value for money. But I always try to think about how I would feel in the situation of someone who plays this game, and the closest equivalent I have is Dota. Dota has Dota Plus, which is a subscription-based thing, and you get extra little bits. And I mean, I feel like Dota Plus has some tools in it that actually give you an advantage in the game, which I feel is bullshit. But
you mean is that the stat-based stuff?
Yeah. So it's like, oh, you've taken like 60% magical damage, and it's like it's just a little tool to go like, oh, I should be building some magic resistant stuff. Yeah, you should know that as a player, but also it's just a helpful thing to be aware of on your screen at all times. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Whereas this looks like this is just content for people who are going to pay money to buy stuff in Fortnite anyway.
I don't get... Yeah, sorry,
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, it just seems to me, and I don't play Fortnite, but it seems to me like you're just not getting enough in this. That you get... There's the Battle Pass, but the seasons last longer than a month. So you can buy the Battle Pass already for like 920 V-Bucks or something. And then that's a one-off purchase that then you unlock this stuff. You get 1,000 V-Bucks per month with this. So I guess that's from memory, like
15?
Really good outfits are like 1,600 V-Bucks or something.
So I feel like it's 2 months to save up kind of thing.
Yeah. And then you get I guess the exclusive outfit is the main draw, because they said that they're not going to sell those anywhere else. But it just, I feel like with Dota Plus as an example, which I think is a good example for something like this, yes, there is that thing of like, does it give you a slight edge,
bit pay to win
competitively? Yeah. But what it does give you is like tons of information and more things that you can like use in your gameplay. Whereas this just seems to be like, this is a bit more like FOMO. It's like, we've locked this outfit behind a subscription service, and if you want this outfit, you're going to have to pay for the subscription service. So, and you know, like I agree. Like I didn't really like the look of that outfit that much, but it is on brand for what Fortnite do. And the other thing I'd say about it is it isn't like branded like it's not like some badge that you have that just says like, oh, I subscribe to this thing. It's like if they didn't tie it to this, I would look at that and go like, oh yeah, that makes sense that that's the new.
Totally.
It's not. It doesn't seem hampered by the fact that it's attached to this other thing. So yeah, it just feels like I would have expected getting more stuff for $12 a month for something that I currently get for free and buy a season battle pass.
Yeah, it's hard to judge the value of it. Like maybe 1,000 V-Bucks is good value for someone who's going to be spending a few $100s in Fortnite a year anyway.
Yep.
Like maybe it is good value to be having those 1,000 things accumulating. Don't know.
Sith Cat said that maybe this is aimed at parents who can sign their kids up and then not get pestered into paying extra. So it's like this is your Fortnite allowance.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which is like I guess
you're paying a convenience tax,
totally.
A little bit extra just to make sure your kids know they're only getting 1,000 V-Bucks a month.
Totally. Yeah, and whatever that outfit is. So yeah, if you play Fortnite, which literally. Have not seen a single person in the chat say they do. So we're all outliers to the broader gaming world. But there you go. You can now spend more money.
Jaya Hanna said that the only thing they liked about the game was that it was free. So like, just ruined all of that.
Yeah, good. All right. From paying for something to it just appearing on your television for free, the Xbox app could be coming to televisions. I'll tell you what, the busiest person on the planet right now is Phil Spencer giving interviews to people.
Spinning PR.
It's all he does. Like, it's like they don't have a PR department.
Yeah,
and
totally.
It's just him.
Well, I feel like that's something that they've arrived at
totally
on purpose. Yeah. Not that they haven't hired people to run PR. They've just realized that the world likes Phil Spencer and he can do no wrong. So it's like, why not put him out the front? Totally. Which, I mean, give me more Phil. I'm all for it.
Fill me with Phil. Speaking of The Verge, Phil Spencer said, I think you're going to see an Xbox app for smart TVs in the next 12 months. I don't think that anything is going to stop us from doing that. What we used to call, and I do like his point. I do like his point here. He said, what we used to call a TV was a CRT that was just throwing an image on the back of a piece of glass that I'm looking at. Now, a TV is really more of a game console stuffed behind a screen that has an app platform, a Bluetooth stack, and streaming capabilities. Is it really a TV anymore, or is it just the form and function of the devices we used to have around our TV consolidated into one big screen? Totally. He's getting very philosophical. Siri. Hey, Siri. Hey, Siri.
Hey, Siri. Change Phil Spencer's name in my phone to philosophical.
Television, sometimes shortened to telly or telly, is a telecommunication medium used for transmitting moving images in monochrome or in color and in 2 or 3 dimensions and sound.
She did it.
Amazon, Google, Apple, we're looking for a voice AI sponsor. This is how you'll be integrated. Get involved.
Yeah, any weird filler joke, you will be the go-to. But the broader point here being that the Xbox app could appear, so you get your Game Pass and your xCloud streaming straight to your TV, further eradicating the need for. Before it was like, hey, you don't need to buy an Xbox. You could just have a computer or a high-end Android phone or something, or not even high-end, but like an Android phone or something to do this. This is now like, it will just appear on your television and you don't even need to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's another step away from requiring the Xbox box. Like, the console is becoming more and more redundant with every play that Xbox make. And again, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think we both agree that Game Pass is the power of their system setup, their brand. Service. Yeah, they are a service. So, the more convenient it is to jump into things wherever you are, that's good. I mean, we've seen Stadia, and you would think Google servers could do the job well. We've seen Stadia fail. Amazon's going to give it a crack with their thing.
We'll see them fail.
We'll probably see them fail, and we'll probably see Microsoft fail. But everyone's given it a shot. Everyone equal opportunity to fail, and that's what we're all about in video games.
That's America for you.
That's America.
I did see an article a few days ago saying that PlayStation were... Jim Ryan said something along the lines of like... we're not talking about it now, but we will have something to announce in the future when it comes to a streaming platform a la Game Pass. So that that they might be getting into that. Xbox have such a head start just in terms of the density of studios that they've bought, and I do think that the reason that the Stadia, I think it's a very easy reason why Stadia and potentially the Amazon one fail, and that's that they just don't have the money of Microsoft to be able to purchase a bunch of studios to go, you now make games for our service. Like, they have to rely on the small studios that they have. Amazon's game studio, a studio that is now more famous for games that they put out and cancel before release than actually producing video games. And then Amazon's and then Stadia, having apparently still working on games, but having to purchase those games, blah blah blah. The power is just being able to have the sheer amount of studios building just for your system, which means that it really is more the Netflix model than something like Foxtel or Binge, where they just commission they just license other people's content.
Yeah, and at the moment, if they rolled this out reasonably quickly, they're talking about, what did he say, in the next year?
He said the next year. I'm just going to shut the window because someone's whippersnipping. Yeah,
cool. Well, it's just you and me, chat. But to me, it's like, if they get this out quickly, people are all about 4K, 120 frame experiences at the moment. Obviously, there aren't a lot of people in Australia, even with NBN, that can stream that. But if it becomes a situation where you buying the 4K television, if you're buying a premium 4K television at $2,500–$3,000 from a reputable brand, then you being able to stream down a 4K HDR version of a game. So you just buy a television, you're already outputting a shit ton of money. You don't really want to have to output another $1,000 for a console and games. It's like, if you're just using Game Pass and your television is purchasing into that 4K console gaming experience, then that's a pretty big win.
Totally.
But again, we'll never be able to stream 4K 60 frames in Australia. So there'll be 3 people in chat who are like, I live in an apartment with VDSL and I used to be you, but I'm not anymore. I'm not anymore.
Yeah, totally. It's a nice dream, but we'll enjoy hearing Americans talk about how good it is on all their podcasts.
Totally.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So I feel like the rule is now that if you release an open world game, it needs to be quite buggy at launch, but B, it needs to have some sort of game within that game to also be able to spin off into its own game. So we saw that with Gwent in The Witcher, and Gwent became its own standalone thing. Assassin's Creed Valhalla have their Gwent, which is Orlog, the dice game within Valhalla that you play in all the little towns and stuff. And Dicebreaker, a board game website, broke the news that Ubisoft will be working with pop culture collectibles producer Pure Arts to produce a physical version of Orlog in 2021. Ubisoft haven't provided any more details, but it's looking like this one is coming to fruition.
There it is. Hey Siri. Hey Siri.
Hey Siri.
Pronounced through friction.
How do I say through friction?
Sure. Translate into which language?
Oh, okay, cool.
English, please.
German, Spanish,
Brazilian
French,
Portuguese.
Italian. In Brazilian Portuguese, threaten is ameaçar.
She thought I said threaten. Have you played Orlog?
Yeah, I played a round. I didn't really fully wrap my head around it, but I won.
Hey. You won that one that no one can lose.
The demo one.
Did you have strong feelings towards it? Are you going to pick it up again in game?
I'd probably play it again, but it's like totally not a priority in the game to play more of that. It's kind of like once I'm 60% of the way through the game and I'm like slowing down on how quickly I'm punching through side quests and stuff.
Yeah,
I'll probably give it a crack in a bar again. But yeah, it's like there's a lot of familiar components to it. And I think it's pretty cool. I didn't fully understand the systems, but like the god power stuff.
Yep.
Selecting the god power and then utilizing the god power. I understood those gold pieces as like the power up.
Yes.
But then I was like, I'm not quite sure the best way to play it.
Yeah. I found it quite fun. I'm a bit like you, where I go, I've already got a game, and you've stuffed so much in this game. I don't want to boot up your game to play a different game. So I've played a couple of rounds. It's the kind of thing that if they released a standalone version, I would play it as a sort of like filler game, as like a palate cleanser. And the fact that they're releasing a physical version, I think, is cool. I
bless you. Just in time for PAX next year, hopefully.
Totally, yeah. But it is a fun little thing, and I like the idea of getting those physical pieces.
Wait, look at this.
Sort of like embrace.
It's bugged because the dice can't land.
Oh no!
It does say work in progress. Work in progress. They fixed the dice physics.
How is this a work in progress and this is a released video? I don't understand what's going on there. But yeah, so there you go. You'll be able to play a physical version in real life. Be able to like sit around the warm glow of a pillaged village and play some Orlog.
Yep.
There you go. Simon C. laughed when you said quests slowing down. I'm 70 hours in and the quests aren't slowing down.
I feel like I knew that, but I was implying that I would be bored of doing it all. So I was slowing down on doing the story stuff.
Yeah, there's a very big distinction there.
Yeah.
Moving on, and a petty Valve employee has ruined it for everybody else. I love this story. So a Dota 2 player on Reddit named Mini1 John Doe posted that they were arguing with a teammate in a game of Dota over match tactics after repeatedly dying chasing what they believed was a lost cause. Quote, "He got tired of fighting with me and told me, 'Do you know who you're talking to? Check my profile. I'm a Steam employee.'" And then after the match, Mini1 John Doe said that they were thrown into Dota 2's low priority matchmaking system, which means which is normally what happens when you have several complaints lodged against you.
Yeah.
And Valve system takes action automatically. And then, but it turns out that the Dota Valve employee he'd spoken to just took a personal grudge and ended up like shadow banning this guy manually.
He's got that power.
Which is quite wild.
I will say at the top that if you play Dota 2, you probably deserve a ban. So I don't have a lot of sympathy for the player.
Good, yeah.
But also that was just a reckless abuse of power. And it is funny.
And also bickering is probably a very gentle way of saying what they were actually doing.
Totally.
Because I've never heard a bicker in Dota. I've heard threats of violence.
There are no minor quibbles.
That's the starting point.
Yeah.
But then the Valve employee came out and revealed themselves, and it was Sean Vanneman, who is one of the co-founders of Campo Santo, who made Firewatch, and then Campo Santo was acquired by Valve in 2018. He came out to confirm and apologize, saying, quote, "The team looked into this case and concluded the user clearly did not deserve the ban. However, even if the user did deserve a ban, we all think it's clear that manually banning users is not a good idea because of how hard it is to be objective in Dota games that you are in. My mistake in this case being a sterling example. As employees, we should have no special privilege when playing Dota. That has been the team's informal policy in the past, but it's clearly failed in this case. It won't remain informal going forward. Manual bans like this won't be allowed anymore altogether. And sincere apologies to user Mini1 John Doe."
Absolutely. And special privileges only go to Dota players who pay for Dota Plus to pay to win.
Thank you very much. You have a bone to pick. As someone who definitely would subscribe to that service even if it gave him no competitive edge whatsoever.
I'm so like I haven't played Dota in over 2 weeks. Steam was like, "You've played 0 minutes of Dota in the last 2 weeks." I was like, "Oh
You've
my
played
god,
400 hours of Destiny."
That's true. It's going elsewhere.
So good that he came out and apologized. 100% agree with everything that he said. I definitely feel like I should not be trusted with ban power, because I would definitely do this. Like, I would 100% have done this and then have to come out and be like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. That was dumb.
BMAC. So Peter Woodsman Burns, who are you? Banned. Mods, ban him.
Get him out of here.
Ban BMAC right now.
I banned a mod for saying that I should be banned.
That's true.
Like, and when I banned SithCat, it removed her mod privileges, and I had to manually go back and reinstate a bunch of privileges after the show, because it's like, oh, that's right, you did ban me, so I counter-banned you. I think that's just as bad, SithCat. I feel like you should not, that's an abuse of your power, banning a host of the show that you moderate on. So I feel like we were both in the wrong then.
We've all come to terms. I was looking for yesterday, well, a little segue while we've still got plenty of leftovers to get through. Here's a bit of time filler. Yesterday I played Destiny while we were a little closer to Dota as well. Destiny with a pawn called Bishop. Mm-hmm. A pawn called Bishop famously wrote pocket fan fiction back in the day, and I went for a hunt for it. Couldn't find it, but there's a lot of old scripts, the last scripts, because we had a template script for each day. Yeah, all those, and they just got updated every day. We weren't going to save a million scripts, but the templates for the last version of each day still exists.
Oh, yes.
And there's a version of there's Ask Pocket in there, and SithCat had a question in it, and I was like, "Hey, SithCat." All the way back in 2016. And
wait, do you have more info? What was the thing? Just send me a link. I'll read out the answer.
All right.
Come on. This isn't copyright abuse at all.
Let me go.
Pete will fill that out. Pete will get there. And then while he's finding that, Loki Cat in the chat said, I still remember Ubisoft denying your request to ban me. And I remember doing that. So again, this is why I shouldn't be trusted with ban power. I was like, unhappy with a thing that you said in a jokey way, and I asked Ubisoft reps to ban you on a whim just because I don't like you. Thankfully, they showed some sort of self-control, which is something I famously do not have. So I can't blame Sean Vanneman too much, but also you were definitely wrong, and never do it again.
I'm going to just I'll just, rather than sharing the link because it's a pain in the ass, I'll oh my god, is nothing signed in? I was going to just Slack DM you. I'll Slack DM you.
I thought this would be so easy.
No, of course it's not. Nothing's easy on the internet when you're remoting to a computer. There you go.
There we go. Okay. SithCat asks, how do you feel about the Ask Pocket hashtag being used by a nude model or maybe porn star called Pocket Sings? To which I replied, SithCat brings an excellent point to my attention. The Ask Pocket hashtag has indeed been co-opted, unfortunately because of my enormous fan base, and also because I'm sure there is 100% overlap between viewers of both me and Pocket Sins, given our striking similarities. I cannot discern which asks are meant for me or said cam girl, so I'll just answer at random and hope that all of these questions were indeed intended for me. That's right, I remember this, and then half of them were gaming ones, and then half of them were questions that you would ask a porn star that I answered genuinely. It's good. That's a good bit. That's a good bit.
That's a good bit. That's a good show.
Good bit. That show had a bunch of good bits.
Yep.
The best bit is when they cancelled it. Moving on, and Activision applied for a patent for sharing Call of Duty loadouts. In September last year, Activision applied for this patent called the Systems and Methods for Customizing Weapons and Sharing Customized Weapons via Social Networks. Patent names are one of my favorite things in the world because they have to be so clear and definitive about what they're patenting. And it just got approved. Basically, this patent, the short version is that you'll be able to post something on like Instagram, sharing your custom loadout of a character, and other people will be able to use like a QR code or like just a code that they plug into their system or whatever, and be able to just like get that applied to their character straight away, which is fine and cool, I suppose. But then the patent also goes beyond loadouts and into community features like players being able to challenge each other and being able to do more sort of like direct linking of players and content in that way. And I think that that's an interesting thing that we've seen other services do, and that it feels like video games maybe a little behind the times on something like this.
Yeah. Obviously, like, I'm kind of torn on this because this stuff has always existed, even down to like controller settings and stuff like that. I remember back in like Halo 2 days seeing people taking photos of like a pro player's sensitivity on their sticks and stuff like that, and that would get shared around and people wanted to copy the pros and do that stuff, and that all exists. Obviously there's a bit more depth to COD in like the weapon attachments and stuff like that, which I think is interesting. And yeah, I guess like the people who are really interested in keeping up with the meta are going to be on Reddit reading all that stuff anyway and build it. So to make it more convenient for them is a good thing. But also it could destroy the meta if everyone just rips what's powerful this week. And they're just patching constantly. And people are just, 5 minutes after the patch, they've got the latest meta shit, and everyone's just gonna be running around with the same setups.
Yeah,
that's a thing that could happen that would be like frustrating for players. It's just like, oh, if I'm not using the P90 with this like quick fire shoot from the hip thing, then I can't win. So I'll do it anyway. And because everyone can easily access that, it's like just everyone's doing it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think that's a very, very good point. For me, the interesting thing about this goes beyond something like COD, because it was an Activision thing, so not just a Call of Duty thing. Activision don't publish many games that aren't shooters, and the game that I'm about to reference is famously very much a shooter. But putting something like this in Destiny, being able to go...
Which they're not attached to anymore.
Oh, of course, they're not... Oh, good point. It's actually just Destiny 1. Yeah, of course. I was sitting there going, what games did Activision publish? And I was trying to think of something that wasn't Call of Duty, and I Googled it, and the list came up, and then Destiny was just on the list, and they don't even publish it. So ignore the fact that this actually can't happen. But if this was implemented in games like that, then the idea that... cool outfits that you've put together using like shaders and that sort of thing, where you go like, oh, I worked on like putting together a really cool look for this character, sharing that, and that being able to be something where I'm like, oh, I don't need to figure out like what shader combination you use to be able to execute this thing, and then being able to apply in some way that to my character. So I guess sharing content in the game, and even though this is totally just going to be abused for whatever Call of Duty pro player is playing this week, and that's what everyone's suddenly running around with, but more about the idea of like sharing content in video games and being able to like bring that into yours. Again, not an Activision game, but like if you went Minecraft or something, and it's like, hey, here's a recipe for this cool, like not even something that you build in the game in terms of like a recipe to put together a table, but like I built a building, and now you can just template that into file.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah, and it's part way towards. It would almost be cool to see something like that implemented in the PS5's little tools feature as well, of going like, I can quickly access that, and hot swap and rip loadouts easily without having to go through a bunch of menus. It's like, totally. Oh, we see you use the P90. Here's the the highest rated version of the kind of setup you use.
Totally.
That'd be nice. Because that stuff is so confusing, man. Like, it's like, I don't want to, to learn the meta of things. Most people don't have the energy to bother with like, oh, this gives me a slight stability boost. And it's like, well, how does that really affect me? I don't care. I just want the thing that looks cool. So I'm going to put a red dot sight and a laser on it. And maybe giving people the like easy access to better versions of the things they're using is smart.
Yeah, so we'll see. Obviously, there's no guarantee that anything will actually happen, but they now own it. So if it does, Activision are going to be the first ones to do it. Hello, Bajo. Welcome. Good to see you.
Bajo.
So, something that has been clamored for years, asked for, even by a little someone on this show called Nick Boy Richardson, is finally happening. And that is The World Ends With You is getting a sequel. And there have been so many teasers, and it's nearly happening, and then it falls apart. And, oh, is this finally the time that we get it? No, it's not. All right. And it is now finally happening. World Ends With You 2 is coming out. It's actually called Neo, The World Ends With You, and it looks like it's going to be a prequel to the original game. The original game, a game It's like a JRPG fighting, like a heavy fighting system game that came out on the DS, and it had cool music. It had cool characters wearing big baggy pants, but the actual cool thing about it, beyond a very JRPG story about beyond an incredibly JRPG story, is that you used a fighting system on 2 screens, and that was my favorite stuff to do. Henry Hatsworth on the 3DS did that as well, where you use the stylus to control one character and then you use the D-pad and the buttons to control the other, and those 2 fights were happening on 2 different screens at the same time, and you would pass abilities and stuff between each other. And then this game has since come out. I think it's on PC. I know it's on Switch. It's on iOS. And all of those platforms don't support that dual thing. So while the game is still really good, it just lost that one like unique thing about it that made it so beloved. I don't think they'll be able to do that again, because I'm guessing that this is coming. I believe this is coming to PS4 and Switch first. But actually getting an official sequel/prequel is something people have been very excited about. Pete, did you play World Ends With You?
I didn't. Does not look like my jam.
Not at all. Not at all. You would hate. You would like literally. I think even purchasing this would make you shamed.
Yeah,
it's very fun though. Yeah,
I remember people playing it and being like, I had mates who were playing it on their Switch not Switch, DS. But yeah, it never sung to me.
No. So the sequel here, the hilarious thing about a prequel, the prequel here is that I saw the main character running around, and I was like, oh wow, this is like a genuine sequel where the idea is that you get trapped in this like purgatory for 7 days. You need to play this game in Shibuya in Japan where you run around and fight things by collecting these pins, and if you could survive 7 days, then you get out of it, and if you don't, then you die, and you get erased. And I looked at the character and I'm like, oh, the guy got caught up in this again.
It's the same protagonist.
Yeah, I was like, oh god, he got caught up in this again. And it's not. It's a new kid called Rindo who looks exactly like Neku, who also had blonde hair and baggy pants and a sort of like long jacket. And I was like, this is a different character that looks exactly the same as the original guy. It's insane how similar they look. So that is a new one. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I probably won't finish this one. And I did the original, but yeah, a lot of people are very happy this week with this announcement.
Yeah, enjoy.
And then, thank you very much. And then just rounding out the World Ends With You news is that they announced an anime ages ago, and then we got a new trailer for that and an announcement that it's coming in April 2021. So this is an anime of the original game. See, that's the other character. It's basically the same kid.
It's Cloud.
It's Cloud. It's Cloud, and every JRPG has Cloud in it.
Yeah.
The Neku had orange hair though. That's such a fine distinction. That is blonde. I would not say. Is that orange? That's blonde to me.
It looks like just it's a more saturated picture than the game.
Totally. So this anime follows this story of the original game, and looks very bad. In terms of just like the animation and stuff, it looks like a video game cutscene. I won't pass judgment, but also I'm not going to watch it. So that's an anime. Weird choice I made. It's an anime. I only watch like 4 animes because the rest of them are trash. Let's round out the news.
I thought you were looking at the chat waiting for the hate mail to come through.
Oh,
how very dare you.
That's fine. They know what they are. Grim Pixel agrees with me, so that's what I actually care about. The final story for today, BioWare and Ubisoft employees forming a new studio. I feel like there seems to be a glut of new studios being founded by prestige developers.
Just BioWare developers.
BioWare and Blizzard developers are the two.
There's just a billion of them. But it's been for a decade, just like people leaving BioWare as a studio to make their own studios. Yeah. It's like there's always someone leaving BioWare.
It's like a maxium.
From the creators of Mass Effect is like every game since 2009 has been from the creators of Mass Effect in some way.
So true. That's so true. And it's like none of them have been Bioware games.
Yeah.
Bioware and Blizzard being like, you can tell if a company is on a downward trajectory if you see a bunch of studios popped up by former developers from blank. So this company is called Yellow Brick Roads, this studio. It is Mike Laidlaw, Jeff Skalsky, Frederick St. Laurent B, and Thomas Giroux, who have teamed up to create Yellow Brick Studios, a new studio in Quebec. Yellow Brick Games, sorry, a new studio in Quebec. It's a team of 15 people working from home in multiple countries. And the studio was founded by a group of industry veterans who found themselves keen to align... Sorry?
Not these guys. This is the Dragon Age trailer. It's just Bioware footage of classic developer-looking types.
These people are still trapped in Bioware.
They're still Bioware. In 6 months' time, we'll be doing stories about how these people left Bioware to make new studios.
Absolutely. Graham Scott is planning his exit strategy as we speak.
Yeah.
But they want to work on an agile team on projects that could deliver innovative and emergent gameplay crafted by a small, highly skilled team. And I think for me, the most interesting thing about this is that it's taking that Moon Studios approach, who did Ori and the Blind Forest, and that we've got people all over the world sort of working as a studio, which means you can get the best, or at least the people that you want to work with.
Yeah, I think it's like it obviously seems to be a dev kind of setup that's working for the right kind of team of people. These are all very experienced people. I'm sure they'll hire in some like juniors to help them make it as well. But maybe not. But yeah, it's like even Moon Studios was like it was a small dev team and it was like small developers, whereas these people from Bioware and stuff are taking all their learnings from working in big studios to the independent scene effectively.
Yeah.
Which is cool. The tools are there, I think, for people to be able to build big games with smaller numbers now. If that's anecdotal, I'm not a developer, but it seems to be what we've seen some bigger games from like one or two people. Things like what was Gus's Rage Skywind or whatever it's called? Not Skywind, that's the remake. Windbound, yeah. It's like small teams making these big kind of ambitious games.
Yep. Hollow Knight, yep.
Yeah.
They have not announced what game they're going to be working on, but I'm sure it will have a lot of dialogue options. That's my theory.
Well, that's the thing as well, right? It's like they can. It's not that moving to these smaller studios and smaller ideas is going to stop them from going like, hey, we've got the talent booking experience that smaller studios can have. We're going to call Jennifer Hale and get her to do the voice of these characters, and we're going to know how to get a script to her, and we're going to know how to make sure she can work remotely or pay to get her to a local recording studio in her area and get all the lines to us and direct her over Zoom. And like, there's a lot of that. It's cool. It's cool. I'm really excited to see what they kind of announce, because I'm sure they'll be able to leverage the experience, the decades of experience that are in the company, to make a really interesting indie title. I mean, it is independent. I don't know why I did that, but it's like, it's not independent in the way that we still think of independence as being like young upcomers. It's like
totally, yeah. I think that's a great point. They're being able to leverage a lot of experience to be able to streamline a process, particularly coming from companies like Bioware and Ubisoft, where you just go, they're so huge that the amount of like bloat and process involved in those would be freeing to get away from something like that. So that is all the news for us that is worth printing. Someone mentioned in chat, are you going to touch on the Golden Joysticks Award? Hugaholic mentioned that. We won't, because we'll actually be doing our own Game of the Year stuff. And I feel like if we start touching on other Game of the Year lists, we're just going to start having the Game of the Year conversation.
Yeah.
And if we don't, then all we're doing is just reading out a list of game winners to you. And you can go look that up yourself. So we're going to save our in-depth Game of the Year stuff for you and our own content. Gus just sent us a message on Slack that someone, I hadn't noticed this, but he's screenshotted. Oh, it's coming up on screen right now. It's here right now.
Is it?
Welcome to Back Pocket. where they bully Gus relentlessly.
That's someone's Patreon name.
Which is fantastic. And I will say to that person, whoever you are, that's not a back pocket thing. That's just like wherever Gus goes, that's what happened at Good Game. It happened when we're freelancers. It happens within Low Key. It happens within his family.
We go to a bar and the bartenders are like, who is this idiot?
Yeah, like if you're in a relationship with him, it's going to happen there. So it's not like, I guess it's technically true that it happens here, but also it just feels like one of those things.
It's a universal truth.
Yeah, it is. It's like if Bioware, someone is always leaving Bioware, Gus will
always bullying Gus.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for hanging out for the leftover news today. We are back tonight. Yeah. So we'll be back 8 p.m. tonight on this channel. So make sure you tell everybody you know. Tell people who don't watch the show to
tell
come
people
watch
you
the show.
Don't know. Scream it from your window.
Yeah. You know, remember all those videos like when in New York where it was like ambulances at the beginning of like COVID and they would be driving by and people were like applauding healthcare workers and stuff in like Rome and New York for doing such a good job. You should be doing that, but for us, the real heroes.
We should organize, or everyone else should organize, and we don't have to get involved. What do they call those surprise dances in public locations?
Oh yeah,
dance party surprise. Call it that. That'll do.
No, fuck. What's it called? Flash mob.
Flash mob. Do a flash mob.
Thank you, T59.
Kid Carnage is on it too. Yep. Do a flash mob dance somewhere. Do a COVID safe.
Yeah.
Smart choreography, but yeah. Flash mob for us, please.
But it should communicate to the
viewer. Are the ones that are most together.
I would definitely say that.
Let's take over Perth.
Yeah.
Perth Pocketeers, flash mob in Perth, and we want to be the biggest thing in Perth by the end of the year.
I like that as an idea.
You've got 3 weeks.
There is something about those Perthians, Perth Georgians. They're a committed bunch. They're more like a gang than anything else. But they could be a West Side Story gang where they do improv dance. But I must stress that the dance must communicate to the viewer how much fun it is to watch a variety show about video games, and also the production quality of the show. Those are the 2 very important things that the dance has to communicate.
Yeah. And if you're successful, we will, once we get merchandise sorted, we will arrange for the Perthketeers back pocket butterfly knives. So you can be prepared for any situation.
Good. I was actually going to say we should do a T-shirt where it is like West Side Story dances, but in Perth and all Pocketeers. But you proposed making them weapons, and I actually think I like that more. And we have our very own weapon maker in Wigan, who's making us a blade right now as we speak. So Wigan, you could just start putting out some butterfly knives and stuff for the rest of the people. Commemorative, obviously, nothing genuinely dangerous. I feel like that's a good deal.
Blunt the edges.
Just blunt the edges, just a little bit. Keep the tip sharp, but the edges.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to accidentally cut yourself. But if someone needs the business,
make it a stabbing weapon, not a slashing weapon.
Thank you very much, Peter Burtz. All right. Well, let's stop talking now before we say something that we're going to regret one day.
Should we stab our way into Miles the Ross's stream?
That's a lovely idea. I want everyone to say it's a stabbing weapon, not a slashing weapon. Can be the raid message to our good friend Miles. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. with the news, and then with the show, and then tomorrow night we will be live on the Back Pocket channel. We'll tell you about that at some point today once we figure out what the hell that actually is.
All right, the raid is ticking away. We should back out.
Let's back it out. See you tonight.
See you guys.